Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'll call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, May 8th, 2024, at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Burback.
Here.
Trustee Caveney.
Here.
Trustee Crowley.
Here.
Trustee Hilly.
Here.
Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Killily.
Here.
Mayor LaRue.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on. At this time, we have the pleasure of swearing in a new full-time probationary firefighter, Nicholas Husaric. Can you come forward?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, Nicholas, having been appointed to the position of full-time probationary firefighter, paramedic, in the Village of Midlothian, in the County of Cook, aforesaid, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of probationary full-time firefighter, paramedic. I lost that, sir. That I will faithfully discharge the duties of the position of probationary full-time firefighter, paramedic, according to the best of my ability. Good job. You're welcome. Awesome. Yes, sir. Thanks very much. Yeah, my wife, my son. Okay.
They can come up. They can all come up. Come on. Big Daddy.
They're hard. They are.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Welcome.
As always, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to. That would be a good thing. All right, so we're going to move on to public comments. Is there any public comment tonight? Seeing there's no public comment, I will close the floor to public comment and move on to tonight's consent agenda. Number 1, approval of Midwest Meter, Inc., complete turnkey commercial meter replacement with installation quote in the amount of $466,875. Number 2, approval of 2 Amazon invoices for the MDF rack cleanup project in the amount of $1,155.28. Number 3 is approval of the pay raises that were discussed last week in closed session. Number 4, approval of the Community Policing Safety Committee's design of new safety sign and to allow the placement of safety signs in the parkways. Number 5, approval of the April 17th, 2024 committee meeting minutes. Number 6, approval of the April 17th, 2024 closed session meeting minutes. Number 7, approval of April 24th, 2024 board meeting minutes. Number 8, approval of April 24th, 2024 closed session meeting minutes. And number 9, approval of the list of bills. Is there any item any trustee would like off of tonight's consent agenda? Hearing no dissension, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as read.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Masko.
Trustee Cavey.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Burbett.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to trustee business, trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one thing tonight, a bunch of thank yous. Last Friday was the prom, and it was a great success. We had 66 people that attended. That is bigger than last year when we had 40. The events committee, I'd like to thank the events committee for organizing, decorating, donating desserts, dancing, and cleaning up the prom. Thanks to Knut's for a great meal. It was delicious. I'd like to also thank the Park District for allowing us to use their gym, getting the DJ, taking all the great pictures for the guests. And finally, thanks to the village for supporting the events committee. The feedback from many of the attendees was positive, and they can't wait for next year. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Well done. Trustee Burbett.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one item. I asked DMC to do a evaluation of our village hall for alarm system now that the police department has moved out. There is a quote attached to the agenda tonight, if everybody wants to take a look at it.
Why does this happen?
I intend to put that in for the consent agenda for next meeting. That's all I have.
Anyone have any, something that trustee Burbett and I talked about? I was actually shocked that the village hall did not have a security alarm, some type of security system, so.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't hear what you said.
I was shocked that the village hall did not have a security alarm system.
I actually was trying not to say that out loud in the meeting. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry.
Transparency?
Yeah, I get it.
But the doors are locked and we still need a key or a card key to get in though, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's secured that way.
True.
Okay.
They're locked and
And we have cameras.
we have cameras.
Okay.
That's how I claimed it as an addition to the system. But
Then we'll put it on the agenda for approval next week.
sounds good. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Hilly?
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Caveney?
Thank you, Mayor. I've got a couple of things. Number one, last night was the zoning board hearing, and the two businesses that came before the board to have their applications heard were Bartolini's. Bartolini's submitted a special use application for their patio, and they also submitted a zoning variance request for parking and for landscaping. And also Big B Coffee was at the hearing, and they presented their application for their special use for their drive-through. And the zoning board heard all three applications, and they all voted in favor of submitting their recommendation for approval to the village board. So as soon as the meeting minutes are completed, they will be turned over to the board for their approval immediately, and then will be given to Attorney Murphy so that he can draft the required ordinance. Also, last night at the zoning hearing, they approved the meeting minutes from last month's April meeting, in which Big Toes submitted a special use application, for their business at 4444 147th, which is the vacated Moran Building. And those meeting minutes were approved, and Attorney Murphy is in the process of drafting a special use ordinance for that business. So that ordinance should come before the board at the next week's committee meeting or the following board meeting. I don't know if anybody else is having issues with the CyberLink class we're supposed to take, but I was having big issues. Yvonne sent me another link, so I'll try it. But if this one doesn't work, I don't know. It just wouldn't work. I got stuck. Yeah, this has been going on since last Friday. Last thing I want to bring up is the 14601 Keystone condominium. I've discussed this at past meetings. The village is having significant issues with this condominium building, with the homeowner association and with just a handful of the landlords that own units in that building. The 14601, as I mentioned, it's a condo building. There are, I believe, 14 units. Of the 14 units, 11 are rentals. There are several units that are in deplorable condition. The water in the building is a big problem. We discussed this with Attorney Valadez, and, you know, in most instances, if a tenant has an issue, a lot of the tenant-landlord issues are civil matters that normally the village wouldn't get involved in, except in this particular matter, we have a building that has been to moves court a gazillion times over the last 3 years. The first issue that was there, this is the condo building on Keystone that has that overhang over their front stairs, and it was hanging down crooked. It was a significant danger to the residents and visitors there, and it took them over 2.5 years to get it fixed. And the homeowner association and management company made all kinds of complaints and never took it as their responsibility to fix it. That's not a maintenance issue that an individual unit owner or a tenant can take on themselves. That's a homeowner association issue. They finally got that fixed. There are significant water pressure and water temperature issues in the whole entire building. Our building department plumbing inspector and one of our building inspectors went to the building last December and did a full inspection. And citations were issued. The homeowner association, 3 representatives and a couple of the owners showed up to the January moves court. The hearing officer, attorney, and building department employees were told that they hired a plumber to come and fix the problem. Well, basically, the permit that was submitted was a Band-Aid type of a fix. I think the quoted work to do some sort of repair to the boiler system was around $2,000. So the permit was issued, and building department sent a follow-up email to the contractor last week to find out what the status was. If the work was completed, are they going to call for an inspection? And the reply that was sent back to the building department was that they've not received payment yet from the homeowners association to complete the work and have the inspection done. This has been going on for months. It's been going on since last month. So, you know, Attorney Valadez had stated that we could continue issuing citations. Citations don't matter to these people. They don't care. So in the meantime, we have tenants living in a building that is deteriorating because the landlords don't care. And unfortunately, there are 3 owner occupants there that are sort of screwed by the other property owners that are the landlords because nobody's doing anything. And the 3 gentlemen who stepped forward as the HOA representatives, they're basically not doing anything either. But yet, I know for a fact that, you know, a couple of the units in this building are, never mind, I'm not going to finish that statement. Anyways, one of the units in the building also has a hole in the floor. It's a first floor unit. Apparently there was a problem with the plumbing, an underground plumbing pipe 2 years ago, and the plumber had to come in and cut a hole in the floor of the kitchen and able to get into the crawl space to fix the pipe. The landlord of that unit has not fixed the hole in the floor. So these are the issues that are going on at 14601 Keystone. So, you know, I want to bring this to the board's attention. If the village doesn't take some aggressive action, then this building is going to continue to deteriorate, and it's right in the middle of a residential community. So it's going to have a really negative impact on all of the residential property owners all around it. So, you know, do we take them to court? I don't know. Last summer, if I'm not mistaken, Attorney Valadez, I believe it was last summer, the you recommended to the hearing officer a hefty fine to the homeowner association. I believe they were fined $40,000.
$40,000 on that one particular hearing date. They probably have
And
another $5,000 from other hearing dates.
And that $40,000 was specifically because of this plumbing issue. The village had contacted them multiple times and wrote citations to them for the plumbing issue, and nobody just came to court, they just blew it off. And at that particular court hearing, I believe, nobody attended that court hearing, and that's what resulted in the $40,000 fine. Which, of course, they never addressed, they never went to Markham to ask for a, what is it called? Administrative review, so they blew off their 35-day time frame to address it, and they're continuing to do nothing. Yet, all those landlords are still collecting rent. They didn't buy these units to rent them out for free out of the goodness of their heart. They all did it to be landlords to earn some money. So, I'm just bringing this to your attention because I'm gonna, work with the building department, and we are just gonna start hitting them with citations on a weekly basis if we need to. But I think at this point, we need to do, we need to do something to preserve the integrity of our community. I realize that at some level, this, no hot water and bad hot water pressure are, could be considered a civil matter, but the landlords in this building are doing absolutely nothing to maintain the building and to even fix the to fix major building issues that are not the responsibility of an individual owner, it's the responsibility of the homeowners association.
I thought at one point we talked about condemning the building.
I don't know that we come up anywhere even close to having the circumstances required for condemning the building, otherwise that would
Yeah.
have been our approach.
Okay.
Right.
Can't think the residents moved out of those units that are not livable.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
And that's part of the difficulty is that in this kind of fight
Thank you.
between tenants and landlords, condo association and unit owners, you have tenants and condos, some of the unit owners, who do not want us to intervene because it's coming out of their pocket or because they have to find another place to live. So that makes it very problematic. When we wanted to call the witnesses up here to testify to the hearing officer, some of them actually defended the landlord or defended the circumstances of the property. So the reason why this is so difficult is because this organization obviously this condo association is operating on the margins. I don't even know whether they are registering their condo association every year in compliance with the Condominium Act of Illinois. And so they don't have any money. So even though we have $45,000 in debt owing to us, I would say the quickest way to get to the quick would be to foreclose on that judgment, but then we can't pay it. So now what? Now we lien the property or we take the property, which is nothing but a bill. The problem that I've been concerned about is getting drawn into this condo association when it's supposed to be the tenants suing the landlord and the unit owners suing the association. And getting involved in that fight could be an enormous amount of money for the village to pay, which I wouldn't have an issue with if there was a way that we could get it back. But given that this place is barely surviving, I see no way that we would get it back. Or if we foreclosed on the judgment, that we would get the 45 back.
Right.
Can you work with the building department to work on it?
Oh, absolutely.
But we,
absolutely.
yeah, we,
Okay.
we need to do something. The village needs to do something to implore this homeowner association to act prudently and do something to maintain this property.
Can we ask the land bank to go for abandonment?
It's not abandoned.
No, no.
It's all,
Oh, it's all-
occupied.
yeah, it's all occupied.
They're condos.
And there's nothing else,
3 of them
We
are
c-
owner occupied. The rest of them are all tenants.
there's nothing we can do to say this is a hazard, you can't live here?
We have. We made them fix their overhang.
Right, I
Well,
know that.
After 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, in its present
the only thing
state.
that we can do, I don't, to Attorney Valadez's point, having low water pressure and no hot water doesn't really rise to the level of an inhabited, I can't say the word properly.
Uninhabitable?
Uninhabitable, thank you. So, however, the hole in the kitchen floor is a big issue, I'm gonna talk to I've talked to the building department about stickering, putting a non-inhabitable sticker on that unit and, sending them the required notices per our ordinance that they got 30 days to vacate. And then the unit owner cannot rent it out again until all of the deficiencies in that unit are fixed. But, we have property maintenance ordinances that are just being violated every day, and we've got tenants who are paying rent, and they're not getting the services that they're entitled to.
So leaning it wouldn't be a good solution.
Leaning it is part of the solution,
Mhm.
but realistically, it is unlikely that we would see any money from that
Right.
lien. So we'd only be an investment of a couple $1,000s, maybe less, to record the lien on the judgment from the hearing officer.
And then the problem would come in if any of the unit owners in that building would want to sell their unit, they wouldn't be able to, they'd have to clear the lien. Right?
I can't imagine anyone would want to buy a property that has a lien on $40,000.
No, I know that, so that, I mean, that in one way could force their hand down the road, you know, that they would, in order to, anybody to sell their units in that building, they would have to clear that $40,000 lien, which means they have to fix the darn water. And they have to fix all the rest of the mess around the building too.
Yeah, is that the total amount of the fines? That's not the
No,
total.
it's
Oh,
not
no,
the
that's
total.
not the
You
total.
probably have another
The
$5,000.
$40,000 is just for one,
Right. I'd lean it. I'd lean the whole thing. Stop them from selling it. Maybe they, you know, or it'd be nice to stop them from renting it.
mhm.
But it'd be even better if they couldn't sell it. you
I
know.
also sent an email to the Housing Authority of Cook County today with regards to that building, so that they're aware of it. And I asked them if they would please have, if there are any units in that building whereby the tenants are on, you know, using vouchers, I asked them to please, you know, I gave them the address, I asked them to please look into it and please send their inspector over to do inspections.
Okay. You work with the building department, on this, please.
As always.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Anything else?
let me look on my list. Nope, that's it for now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Trustee Killy?
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 2, I thought was going to be a easy thing, just a few words. And we've been working with Attorney Valdez and trying to find a definition of streaming that differentiates itself from cable TV is very difficult. So we're trying to do this quickly because Comcast has a deadline, and probably DirecTV does too. And we haven't been able to come up with it. So the solution is, at this time, is to send Comcast and, I guess, DirecTV a letter saying something like what Chiller Park did, especially the last 2 paragraphs, which differentiate themselves from, you know, try to define what is not going to be taxed and what is going to be taxed. And I think that states it pretty well. Trying to put that into an ordinance isn't easy. We don't have good definitions. So I'd ask the board if we could postpone consideration of approval of ordinance 2143, send them a letter as originally discussed, similar to this, and work on it some more and take our time and do it right.
And I would just say that I do have a call into the Government Affairs Director for Comcast. I will have a discussion in which all the questions that Trustee Killy has come up with and the ones that I have for myself. And once we are all on the same page and have everything defined and all our questions answered, we can amend the ordinance so it'll be clean.
So you're making a motion to postpone this item to a later date? Is that what you're doing?
Postpone.
You make the motion?
Are you making that motion?
I'm making
Okay.
that motion.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on the postponement of this item? Roll call, please, Clerk Mosco.
Trustee Killy,
Aye.
Trustee Cagney,
Aye.
Trustee Burbette,
Aye.
Trustee Crowley,
Aye.
Trustee Hilly,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Crowley.
I have nothing this evening, sir.
What?
I have nothing this evening.
Chief, is that possible?
I got nothing. I wanted to save all my time for you two tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for showing up. All right, moving on to department heads. Chief Hotwagner.
I have nothing.
Thank you, sir. Chief Delaney.
Nothing this evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. Assistant Superintendent Ty Swanson.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Plato.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Clerk Harris.
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Director Redmond.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Roll.
I
Attorney
have
Valdez.
nothing tonight.
What?
I'm just shocked that you don't, and so
I know.
So you guys are in agreement again?
We are in agreement again.
All right,
can't
thank
take
you,
this.
sir. On to my business, we got a few items here. First one, as always, I'd like to bring it to the board for discussion before approval. The South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association's membership dues for the next year, May 1st to May 1st, 24 to April 30th, 25. Wow. For the GIS Consortium, it's $8,400. No one usually has a problem with it, but again, it's a lot of money, so I wanted to bring it up for discussion before I ask for a motion. No discussion, then I'm looking for a motion to approve this next year's GIS Consortium membership dues in the amount of $8,400.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No discussion. I just want to say that this is a very, very useful tool that the building department uses on a daily basis. So, thank you very much.
It's kind of a discussion.
It's discussion.
That's kind of like a discussion.
Just saying.
We always approve it. It's a lot of money, so for all transparency, it's a lot of money. So, roll call, please, Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Caveney.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Brevette.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Killy.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. And I have a few proclamations I'd like to read into the record. The first one is Emergency Medical Services Week. It's the 50th anniversary proclamation. And it reads, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the member of emergency medical services, EMS teams, are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of the emergency medical services team, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating Emergency Medical Service Week, and therefore I, Gary LaRue, Mayor of the Village of Midlothian, Illinois, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 19th through the 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week. The 50th anniversary of EMS Week theme is EMS Week, honoring our past, forging our future. I encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thank you for all you guys, everything you guys do. Another one is dear to my heart, Motorcycle Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas the safety is the highest priority for the highways and the streets of our village and state, and whereas the great state of Illinois is proud to be a national leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, and whereas motorcycles are a primary, common, and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes in a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion, and whereas it is especially meaningful that the citizens of our village and state be aware of motorcycles on the roadways and recognize the importance of Motorcycle Safety Week month, and whereas the members of ABATE, Illinois, which stands for A Brotherhood Aimed Towards Education, continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school, driver's education programs, and to the public in our village and state, presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois and over the past 9 years. And whereas all motorcyclists should join ABATE of Illinois, Inc., in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect of the citizens of our village and state. And whereas the motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed extensive volunteerism and money to national and community charitable organizations. And whereas during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the village of Midlothian and throughout the great state of Illinois. Therefore, I, Gary LaRue, Mayor of Midlothian, Illinois, in the great state of Illinois, in recognition of 30 years of ABATE of Illinois, and over 352,318 registered motorcyclists statewide, and in recognition of the continued role Illinois serves as a leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, do hereby proclaim May this year, 2024, as Motorcycle Awareness Month in the Village of Midlothian, and urge all motorists to join to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. Should we clap that one? And finally, this proclamation is for the Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque Day. Our longtime sister at St. Christopher Church, now St. Augustine Church, Sister Lorinda, has officially retired. Is that correct? Yes. And she will be filling out the rest of her days in Iowa. So I thought this was important. She has done a lot for this community, not just St. Christopher's School and Church, but for the community with the food pantries and everything else she does. So just wanted to read this into the record. Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque Day. Whereas Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque have served the religious community of St. Christopher's School for 100 years in education, and whereas Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque have been an outstanding influence in the education and growth of the community, and whereas Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque dedicated service to this community deserves special recognition. And now therefore I, Gary LaRue, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the village president of the Village of Midlothian, do hereby proclaim our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the Franciscan Sisters of Dubuque for their contributions to the betterment of our community. That's well done. All right. That is all I have tonight. Clerk Moscow.
I have nothing tonight, sir.
Thank you, sir. Then seeing there's no further business coming before the board, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, may I just add one thing about Sister Lorinda? She
Yes,
is
absolutely.
she has retired already, and she is already living in Iowa. However, she will be coming back to Midlothian on Saturday, May 18th, and they will be celebrating her retirement. There's Mass at 4:30, and after the Mass, there's going to be a celebration to celebrate the 100th anniversary of St. Christopher's School, but also to celebrate Sister Lorinda's anniversary. So if there's anybody out there watching, if you'd like to come and see Sister Lorinda, you can contact the parish office about getting a ticket for the dinner. So just want to let everybody know that.
Thank
They
you.
want to see Sister.
All right. Where were we? Was there a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.